People assume Marine Corps officers all do basically the same job. Bark orders, wear a nicer uniform, repeat. If that were true, this would be a very short video. It's not true. The truth is that rank in the Marine Corps isn't really a title, it's a container size. Every promotion doesn't just mean more pay and a shinier collar device. It means the size of the problem handed to you gets bigger. A second lieutenant's biggest crisis might be a lost piece of gear. A four-star general's biggest crisis might reshape how the entire Marine Corps fights for the next decade. Same organization, wildly different scale of consequence. So let's go rank by rank, from the newest butter bar in the fleet to the very top of the Corps, and see exactly how much heavier that title gets each time it changes. Second lieutenant. Fresh out of officer candidate school and the basic school, where every new officer trains as a provisional rifle platoon commander before anything else. On paper, this is a commissioned officer, already trusted with a platoon of roughly 30 to 40 Marines. In reality, it's someone who technically outranks every enlisted Marine under them, including a gunnery sergeant with 15 years of experience who could run that platoon blindfolded. The job at this rank isn't commanding, it's absorbing. Learning terrain, learning logistics, learning which questions to ask before opening your mouth in front of people who've forgotten more than you currently know. The nickname Butter Bar exists because the insignia looks like a stick of butter, and also, unofficially, because that's about how much real-world weight the rank carries yet. Light roast. Your authority is technically real and practically theoretical. First lieutenant is what happens after a second lieutenant survives their own mistakes long enough to stop making the obvious ones. Often still leading a platoon, sometimes stepping into a company executive officer role, but with something new attached, the ability to make a call without needing someone standing over their shoulder. This rank is a strange middle zone. Expectations rise, but the safety net hasn't fully disappeared yet. The real shift isn't in the paperwork, it's internal. A first lieutenant stops trying to prove they belong in the room and starts actually contributing to what happens in it. Captain is where the training wheels come off completely. This is company command territory, somewhere between 60 and close to 200 Marines depending on the unit, and every part of that company's readiness, discipline, and performance now has your name attached to it. Captains aren't just executing someone else's plan anymore. They're building the plan, running the platoon commanders under them, and getting evaluated on whether the Marine Corps thinks they're promotable or just competent. Light roast. This is the rank where your office chair starts to feel like a second uniform. Tactics haven't disappeared, but they now share space with inspections, evaluations, and a paperwork pile that never quite hits zero. Major is the exit ramp from small unit leadership and the on-ramp to operational planning. Most majors aren't commanding troops face-to-face anymore. They're serving as operations officers, executive officers, or staff planners at the battalion or regimental level, building the plan that captains are the ones executing. The job becomes synchronization instead of direct control. Training cycles, deployment timelines, logistics chains, making sure a commander's intent survives the translation from a whiteboard into something hundreds of Marines can actually execute without chaos. Light roast. This is the rank where slide decks become a real, measurable skill. A major who can't brief clearly is a major whose good ideas never leave the room. Lieutenant colonel usually means battalion command, somewhere between 300 and 1,000 Marines depending on the unit. This is the first rank where you are, unambiguously, the final decision maker for everything that battalion does. Leadership here gets quieter but heavier. You're not micromanaging squads. You're setting priorities, trusting company commanders to carry out your intent, and thinking in timelines of months rather than days. One bad call doesn't just cost you personally. It can ripple through hundreds of families at once. This is the rank where walking into a room changes its energy, not because of volume, but because everyone in it understands exactly how much responsibility just walked in with you. Colonel typically means regimental command or a senior staff billet, and the scale jumps hard. Multiple battalions, multiple commanders reporting up through you. Thousands of the conversations change too. It's less, how do we run this patrol, and more, how does this regiment fit into the larger campaign? Light roast. This is the rank where your calendar becomes the actual battlefield. And losing a meeting slot can matter more than losing an argument. Above Colonel, the entire atmosphere shifts. You leave the officer corps, as most people understand it, and step into general officer territory. Brigadier General. 1 star, and the job changes shape entirely. Brigadier generals aren't running companies or regiments. They're overseeing brigades or filling strategic roles that connect military planning to political and interagency priorities, sometimes working directly alongside other branches or allied militaries. The questions asked at this level aren't tactical anymore. It's not, how do we train this unit better? It's, where does the Marine Corps need to be in 5 years? Your uniform now sees more conference rooms than field exercises, and every decision touches budgets and readiness on a scale a captain would find almost unrecognizable. Major General. 2 stars double the scale. Major generals typically oversee divisions or hold senior strategic staff roles, coordinating multiple brigades and often sitting in underserviced or international planning discussions. If something breaks at this level, it's not a battalion problem, it's a division problem, and it doesn't resolve in an afternoon. Light roast. Your inbox at this rank stops being an inbox and starts functioning like a second full-time job. Meetings, approvals, and briefings dominate the day almost entirely. Leadership here isn't about presence in a room anymore. It's about decisions that quietly shape the Corps' direction for years after you've moved on. Lieutenant General. 3 stars. At this rank, you're typically leading a major Marine Corps command or serving in a senior Department of Defense role, with tens of thousands of Marines operating under policies and priorities you helped set. You're no longer running operations directly. You're making sure the entire structure beneath you executes correctly, while staying aligned with national defense priorities set well above your own pay grade. The uniform barely sees daylight at this level. The real work happens in memos, briefings, and decisions that are expected to already account for problems nobody's raised yet. General. 4 stars, the top of the Marine Corps rank structure. At this level, you're not managing a unit, you're setting direction for the entire institution, strategy, personnel policy, major budget priorities, and coordination that reaches well beyond the Marine Corps itself. The Commandant of the Marine Corps, a 4-star general, sits on the Joint Chiefs of Staff, meaning decisions made at this rank connect directly to how the entire U.S. military operates. Here's the part almost every version of this list gets wrong. People assume there's a mythical 5-star General of the Marine Corps rank sitting above this, reserved for a legendary wartime commander. There isn't. That rank has never actually existed in the Marine Corps. No one has ever held it, because Congress has never created it. 4 stars is, and always has been, the ceiling, which makes the real story even more interesting than the myth. Every single Marine Corps officer, no matter how legendary, no matter how many decades of service, tops out at the same rank the Commandant holds right now. The system was never built to create a single immortal commander at the top. It was built so that responsibility, not mythology, does the scaling. And that, more than any nickname or insignia, is the real story of Marine Corps rank.